Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. Subscribe to this channel right now and get comfortable, because we are about to have the conversation that the tennis media machine does not want you to hear, the unfiltered, unscripted, completely honest breakdown of why the coaching narrative being constructed around Eala every single time she wins a big match or takes a tough loss against a top 5 player is not just wrong but represents the specific kind of shallow, panic-driven, celebrity-obsessed thinking that has derailed more promising careers in professional tennis than any opponent ever could. The clickbait articles are out there right now. The tennis insiders are tweeting. The thumbnails are screaming about rejected million-dollar coaching offers and why Joan Bosch is not equipped to take her to the next level. And every single one of those headlines reflects a fundamental misunderstanding of what elite coaching actually is, what genuine trust between a player and a coach actually looks like, and why Eala's stubborn, unwavering, completely resolute refusal to play the celebrity coach game is not naivety or stubbornness or misplaced loyalty. It is the single smartest, most mature, most strategically brilliant decision available to her at this specific moment in her career. Let us dismantle this narrative properly, piece by piece, because it deserves to be taken apart with the precision and the care that the subject demands. First, let us properly appreciate the circus that the modern WTA has allowed coaching culture to become, because the context is both genuinely alarming and absolutely essential for understanding why Eala's position is so unusual and so significant. The WTA Tour has cultivated a coaching culture that operates almost entirely on panic, ego, and the illusion of progress. Top 20 players, genuinely talented, genuinely dedicated professional athletes, treat coaches like disposable coffee cups with a frequency and a casualness that would seem unbelievable if it were not so thoroughly documented across the recent history of the sport. You lose in the second round of a Grand Slam and the tennis internet immediately begins composing the narrative about needing a change. Your forehand feels slightly inconsistent on a Tuesday and somewhere a verified account is already suggesting that a different name in the player's box would fix it. The names cycle through the WTA coaching marketplace with a rhythm that the media has turned into its own content category: Patrick Mouratoglou, Brad Gilbert, Sasha Budgin, names that carry genuine prestige and genuine tennis knowledge but that have been deployed in a pattern that treats coaching continuity as weakness rather than strategy. The media loves this cycle because every coaching change is a story. Every new partnership is a narrative reset button that generates clicks and engagement and the comfortable illusion that something decisive has happened in response to disappointing results. And the cycle continues because the next difficult result always arrives. Because professional tennis at the elite level is genuinely hard and genuinely unpredictable, and no coaching name in any player's box has ever actually changed that fundamental reality. But the media machine keeps spinning because spinning is what it does, and the players who get caught in it keep making expensive, disruptive, ultimately counterproductive decisions in response to pressure that was manufactured in a tweet rather than generated by genuine coaching inadequacy. Now look at what this media machine is doing with Eala. She wins a massive match against a top 10 player and somewhere an article appears suggesting she needs a super coach to sustain the momentum. She loses a grinding 3-setter to a world number 2 player after a week of physically demanding matches, and within hours the hot take industrial complex is asking whether Joan Bosch has the credentials to take her to the next level. They are inventing rumors about rejected 7-figure offers from celebrity coaching names because their corporate analytical framework simply cannot process a 20-year-old with a skyrocketing ranking, a massive fan base, and growing corporate sponsorships who is not playing the game they expect superstar athletes to play. In their model, superstar status requires superstar accessories, and a famous coaching name is the most visible accessory available in professional tennis. The fact that Eala refuses to acquire this accessory, and refuses with a calm certainty that does not waver regardless of the pressure applied, has produced a cognitive dissonance in the tennis media that it is resolving by generating increasingly loud and increasingly creative reasons why her refusal is a mistake. It is not a mistake. It is the product of a clear-eyed understanding of something the media's model cannot account for: the specific, irreplaceable, foundational value of genuine trust built across years of shared work with a person who was present long before the cameras and the rankings and the corporate interest arrived. Who is Joan Bosch? Because answering this question honestly and completely is the foundation of everything else that follows and the piece that the coaching change narrative consistently and conveniently skips over in its rush to name a more famous replacement. He is not a coach who appeared in Eala's professional life after her breakthrough results made her an attractive client for ambitious coaching professionals. He was there when she was 13 years old, a child who packed her bags in the Philippines, left her family, and traveled thousands of miles to the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain, to begin the most demanding and most comprehensive tennis education available anywhere in the professional development ecosystem. He was the person on the other side of the net during the 5-hour training days that are not metaphorical descriptions of a serious schedule but literal documented reality of what the Nadal Academy demands from its athletes. He was present through the physical pain and the academic pressure and the specific psychological weight of a young girl far from home in a foreign country trying to build something in a sport that was not yet paying attention to her name. He was there through the self-doubt and the early losses and the long stretch of professional development that preceded the breakthrough results that suddenly made the tennis media interested in who was coaching her. He did not show up when the Nike gear arrived. He did not appear when the WTA 1000 results started landing. He was there before any of that existed, and that temporal reality is the foundation of everything the celebrity coach narrative fails to understand about why this relationship is irreplaceable. The tactical dimension of this conversation matters enormously and deserves direct, specific engagement rather than the vague hand-waving about taking her to the next level that coaching change advocates offer without ever actually explaining what the next level requires that Bosch supposedly cannot provide. Eala's game has an identity. It is not an identity that emerged from a generic development philosophy or a one-size-fits-all approach to building a professional tennis player. It is specifically, deliberately and deeply rooted in the Spanish clay court philosophy that the Nadal Academy was built around and that Joan Bosch teaches and embodies: heavy, suffocating topspin that forces opponents into difficult contact zones, point construction built on the patient, chess-like logic of setting up the killing shot rather than going for it prematurely, extraordinary lateral movement and defensive coverage that turns defensive situations into offensive opportunities, and the specific stubborn refusal to give away free points that makes every match she plays feel like a war of attrition. Her opponents are losing even when the score is close. This is not a game style that was applied to her from the outside. It is a game style that was built from the inside, shaped around her physical tools as a left-hander, developed across years of practice that created the muscle memory and the tactical instincts that allow her to execute it under the maximum pressure of professional competition. Bringing in a celebrity coach means bringing in someone whose coaching philosophy was developed around different players in different contexts with different physical profiles and different competitive backgrounds. And celebrity coaches always want to leave their fingerprints. They want to adjust the grip and tweak the toss and alter the footwork precisely because demonstrating their influence on the player is the product they are selling. Every adjustment they make to a game that was already working is a disruption to the specific, refined, deeply personal system that Joan Bosch spent 7 years helping Eala build. The maturity dimension of Eala's position is the part of this story that should make everyone paying attention genuinely pause and reconsider the framework they are applying to a 20-year-old athlete. She is operating under pressure that would cause most adults to make reactive, ego-driven decisions without a second thought. An entire nation's sporting hopes sit on her shoulders every time she takes the court. Corporate sponsors are whispering in her ear. The media is generating a constant stream of content suggesting her team is inadequate for the challenges ahead. The army, passionate, enormous, present across every platform and at every tournament, has its own internal debates about whether the coaching setup is optimal. In the middle of all of that noise, she is sitting with a position of complete clarity, the clarity that comes from knowing exactly who built what she has, exactly how much that foundation is worth, and exactly what the disruption cost of abandoning it would be during the most critical development period of her professional career. Her grandfather Lolo Bobby's lesson, that you do not abandon the people who built the house just because you finally got invited to the mansion, is not just a sentimental family value. It is a sophisticated understanding of what loyalty actually produces in competitive environments where psychological stability is the resource that gets depleted fastest and recovered slowest. The celebrity coach-super coach mythology that the tennis media perpetuates deserves one final direct confrontation before we close this conversation. These are often professional travelers with impressive resumes who know how to conduct an effective first meeting and articulate a compelling vision for what a player could become with the right guidance. They arrive, they identify a few adjustments they can own as their contribution, and they collect a percentage of prize money from a player whose talent was already going to produce results. When the inevitable dip in form arrives, because every player has dips in form, because that is what professional tennis at the elite level looks like regardless of who is in the player's box, they begin looking for their next client, and the cycle repeats. Joan Bosch is invested in the person, not the percentage. He has seen Eala at her absolute worst, long before the world knew her name. That investment does not expire when the results are disappointing. It is exactly the kind of unconditional professional commitment that allows a player to compete with the freedom and the fearlessness that Eala's best performances are built on. She does not need a celebrity in her corner. She is the celebrity. And the mechanic who knows exactly how her engine runs has been standing on the other side of the net since she was 13 years old. Drop everything you are thinking in the comments right now. Are you firmly in the Joan Bosch loyalty camp, or is there a part of you that genuinely wonders what a legendary super coach might unlock? Do you think coaching continuity is Eala's most underrated competitive advantage? And what does her game look like at 25 if she stays on this developmental path without the disruption of a high-profile coaching change? Get every opinion into the comments immediately. Smash that like button to push this analysis past the clickbait and the hot takes that are drowning out the real conversation. Subscribe to this channel for the kind of unfiltered tennis truth the mainstream media is not interested in telling, and share this video with every Eala fan who has been frustrated by the coaching narrative and wanted someone to take it apart properly. Keep watching the tape. The truth is in the work, not the headline.